Ever wondered why birds don't pay rent? Or why trees stubbornly refuse to move even an inch? Welcome to the great outdoors, from the eyes of a perpetually irritated comedian. I mean, seriously, have you ever stopped to think about it? Birds, those feathery freeloaders flitting about all day, free as a, well, bird. They have the audacity to build nests in trees that aren't theirs, and do they pay rent? Not a single shiny pebble. And let's not even get started on their early morning racket. If I tried that, I'd have an eviction notice faster than you can say worms for breakfast. And speaking of trees, those towering leafy layabouts, just standing there all day, doing nothing. They don't even have the decency to move out of the way when you're trying to walk past. It's as if they think they own the place. And don't get me started on the whole photosynthesis thing. Oh, look at me. I can turn sunlight into food. Well, excuse me, Mr. Tree, but I don't see you cooking up a 3-course meal, do I? Then there are the squirrels. Oh, the squirrels, darting about the place like caffeinated acrobats, hoarding food like it's going out of fashion. And do they work for it? Do they clock in 9 to 5 at the local nut factory? No, they do not. They're the real freeloaders of society, much like the welfare recipient of the animal kingdom. And don't even get me started on the audacity of bees, buzzing about all day, acting like they're so important. Just because they pollinate a few flowers, they think they're indispensable. Well, I have news for you, Mr. Bee. I've seen the documentaries. I know about the birds and the bees, and I'm not impressed. But then again, I do love honey, so I guess I might want to just shut my mouth. So, the next time you're out in the wilderness, with the wind in your hair and the sun on your face, just remember the truth. Nature is just a bunch of freeloaders, living the high life while we're stuck in the rat race. And that's why animals are the real freeloaders of society. I mean, I could name a few more, but that's for another time and another video. Ever noticed how nature is the ultimate gym, but without the monthly fees and sweaty gym rats? Yes, my friends, the great outdoors, where every step is a potential sprained ankle and the only personal trainer is your own will to survive. If you're outside and you don't have a wheel to survive, you might just want to sit down, but even then that can be dangerous. Consider hiking, for instance. It's just like using a stairmaster, except the stairs are uneven, covered in dirt, and sometimes they're not even stairs at all. And the best part, no one's counting your steps or timing your progress. There's no bright LED screen reminding you of your glaring lack of fitness. It's just you, the mountain, and the crushing weight of your own mortality. I went for a hike the other day hoping I would die, but all I did was increase my cardio. But what about swimming, you ask? The ocean, my friends, is the ultimate full-body workout. The resistance of the water provides a constant challenge, and the threat of a sudden cramp or a lurking shark keeps that adrenaline pumping. Who needs a heated indoor pool when you could be battling the elements in a swirling vortex of aquatic chaos? If you're a real man, you swim in the ocean. But let's not forget about running. Now, I'm not talking about a leisurely jog through a manicured park. No, I'm talking about a full-on, heart-pounding, bear-chasing you through the woods kind of run. It's high-intensity interval training at its finest, and the stakes are as high as they get. There's no need for a treadmill when you've got a couple of 100 pounds of angry wildlife on your tail. Step away from the Reeses, put them down, and slowly walk backwards. The bear may not attack you, and as you're gasping for breath, your muscles screaming in protest, just remember, this is all part of Mother Nature's grand fitness plan. No gym can replicate the raw, primal challenge of the great outdoors. It's survival of the fittest in the most literal sense, and every day is leg day. So the next time someone tries to sell you a gym membership, just laugh, because you know the secret. The world is your gym, and the only membership fee is a sense of adventure. And the best part, you don't even need a fancy gym membership for any of these. The audacity of the weather. I'm having a wedding, I'm supposed to do that 10K, etc. Let's talk about the weather, the ultimate conversation killer. Yes, the weather, that unpredictable, plan-ruining, sometimes balmy, sometimes frosty entity that holds an uncanny power over our lives. You've got to admire its audacity. It's like that uninvited guest at a party who insists on making their presence known by either turning up the heat or, quite literally, raining on your parade. And isn't it just a marvel how it always knows when you've planned a picnic? a beach day, or a wedding in a lovely garden? It's as if the clouds have a personal vendetta against you and your joy. You can almost picture them, those cheeky cumulonimbus bullies, conspiring to unleash a downpour on your carefully laid plans. Now, I've heard some people say, but unpredictability is the spice of life, isn't it? To which I reply, sure, if the spice you're referring to is a spoonful of ghost peppers unexpectedly thrown into your morning tea. But the real kicker here, the absolute piece de resistance, is how we humans love to talk about the weather, especially when we want to kill a conversation. The weather is the perfect scapegoat for our social awkwardness. Run out of things to say? Comment on the unseasonably warm winter, awkward silence, remark on the likelihood of rain. It's a universal safe haven for the conversationally challenged. And yet, despite all our chatter about the weather, we never actually do anything about it. I mean, we've put a man on the moon, we've invented self-lacing shoes, but we can't control the weather, we can't even predict it accurately half the time. It's almost as if the weather is having a laugh at our expense, just like my Aunt Kathy. But hey, every cloud has a silver lining, right? After all, without the weather's audacious unpredictability, we might have to find other ways to avoid meaningful conversations. And that, my friends, is a chilling thought indeed. So next time you want to ruin a conversation, just bring up the weather. We will immediately know how boring and ready to die you are all at the same time. Surviving in the wild, it's like a comedy show, but the punchline could kill you. Now, isn't survival in the wilderness a hoot, especially when you're flailing around, trying to build a shelter out of twigs and hope, or rubbing two sticks together with the fervent belief that you're just one friction burn away from a roaring fire? Wilderness survival shows, the grand spectacle of watching a grown man, usually in unnecessarily tight khakis, wrestling with nature. They're like a slapstick comedy, filled with pratfalls and near-death experiences, only instead of a pie to the face, it's a face full of poison ivy. Let's talk about building a shelter. I mean, who knew that a couple of branches and a handful of leaves could make a 5-star accommodation, right? But here's the clincher. It appears that these rustic abodes come with a complimentary wake-up call from a family of raccoons at 4 in the morning. Talk about room service. Then there's the ever-alluring task of starting a fire. It's a primal dance between man and nature, a battle of wills. Except in this case, nature is a stubborn twig that refuses to catch fire, and man is, well, a guy with blisters on his hands and a bruised ego. And let's not forget the gourmet cuisine. Who needs a 3-course meal when you can dine on the haute cuisine of the woods? I'm talking about juicy grubs, crunchy beetles, and if you're lucky, some poisonous berries for dessert. Bon appétit. But the pièce de résistance of every survival show, the moment we've all been waiting for, is when our brave adventurer must quench his thirst. And how does he do that, you ask? By drinking his own pee. That's right, folks. Nothing says I've conquered nature like sipping on your own bodily fluids. So remember, the great outdoors is all fun and games until you have to drink your own pee. Then it's just another episode of Fear Factor. So what have we learned today about the great outdoors? Anything? Well, it appears we've established that Mother Nature is the most relentless gym trainer you'll ever encounter. She doesn't care if you're not in the mood for a marathon or a mountain climb. She'll throw you a blizzard, a heatwave, or perhaps a bear just for a giggle. We've also learned that the audacity of weather is beyond compare. One moment you're basking in the sun, and the next you're in a downpour that would make even a duck think twice. And let's not forget those cloudless nights when you can see every star in the sky, only to realize they're mosquitoes, ready to feast on you like you're an all-you-can-eat buffet. We've tackled the comedy of survival too. It's funny how we humans, with all our advanced technology and intelligence, still struggle to light a fire or pitch a tent. Makes you wonder how our ancestors survived, doesn't it? Perhaps they had a better sense of humor. Now, we've had our laughs, but let's not forget the beauty and majesty of the great outdoors. The breathtaking views, the tranquility, the chance to disconnect from the digital world and connect with our primal selves. It's a comedy show like no other, where the punchlines are delivered by chirping birds, rustling leaves, and the occasional squirrel dropping an acorn on your head. So take a moment to appreciate the absurdity of it all. The inconveniences, The unpredictability, the sheer wildness of the great outdoors. Laugh at it, because that's what makes the experience truly remarkable and memorable. The Great Outdoors is a comedian, and we're all in the audience. It's a show that's been running for billions of years, and it's not about to be cancelled anytime soon. So get out there and laugh, my friends. See the humour in the everyday situations that the Great Outdoors presents. And remember, if you can't laugh at the absurdity of life, then the squirrels have won. There's no need to let rodents win. Why in the fuck are we letting the squirrels win? Next time you see a squirrel, hit them with a trophy, since they're such winners.